Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler. On this 24th day of February, we have spring training baseball. I see Carlos backstage with his Mets hat on. Also got college baseball going on here. Very interesting spring training. I've never been this excited about spring training baseball in my life. I'm not being sarcastic, really. I love those pitch clocks. I really do. Anyways, I got a good show on this evening. I'm going to talk about some of the biggest stories of the week with Carlos Mad New Yorker Chavez. Going to knock out our break. I'll be back in a minute 19 with Carlos. We'll hit the ground running here on Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. After 5 years of doing this program once a week, balancing a 60-hour work week job, I've decided to do the program 5 days a week, 1 hour a night, taking a significant pay cut. So I've started a Patreon page, which is Patreon, Patreon/SportsScope, spelled the same way at the bottom of the screen you see there. For $5 a month, 17 cents a day, you can help support the program. You ask yourself, why Sports Scope? Well, I bring in such big names such as Al Borges, former Auburn offensive coordinator, and I cover the big news in sports that the corporate media will not cover. If you want to contribute more than $5 a month, you can go use the Cash App. The cash tag is Sports Scope, again, spelled the same way. Or you can go to the Zelle app, sportscope@gmail.com. SportsScope has about 5,000 followers and growing. If you want to advertise on the program, you can email me. The word is SportsScope, spelled the same way again, at gmail.com. Thank you and enjoy the program. All right, I'm back here live on All Links. Hey, Carlos, how you doing, man?
Yo, happy Friday, Roberto.
Woo! Happy Friday, brother. Happy Friday. Hey, now I know you want to talk about the Brandon Miller stuff and everything, but I was Pickles. I know you just joined us. I'm not exaggerating here. I'm really excited about this. I don't know if you got a chance to see it. It's on Twitter right now. It's trending streaming. It's trending right now about this pitch clock, and its thing is like this, man. I mean, I think it's somebody's going to complain that the pitch clock's too fast. I'm going to say that right now. I'm sure Jim, Mac, Jack, and Jim, they're old timers. They're of my dad's generation. They're going to be complaining about this, dude. But let me tell this to the audience. The average game was 3 hours and 3 minutes during the regular 9-inning season. It's 2 hours and 31 minutes. That is Greg Maddux stuff. What are your thoughts on these new rule changes in baseball? I'm excited about that. I hope that they don't shut it down, you know?
Yeah, no, so I mentioned that last year that the changes were coming and they're going to change a little bit of everything. Some of this stuff is against the pitchers, and a lot of people are upset about that because they're benefiting the hitters and the players in in scoring position and the runners on bases, but with the pitch clock and also the rule about the you can't play switch, so
shifting,
yeah. So
yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, if you ever had the experience to go to a Mets game and watch Jake DeGrom pitch, he was just like tick. He had so much control.
Oh, was he like Greg Maddux?
Oh man, it was great. You go to a baseball game and you were home before the 3 hour mark for sure. And I think that's one of the things I'm going to miss about him being in New York, where the games is so quick and I mean he should and it looks like he takes a long time because he gets the ball, takes 3 paces, licks his fingers, winds up, throws a pitch, and you're like, man, but the thing is that, he works, he doesn't last too long counts, maybe throws an averages of 4 to 5 pitches per player, so, it was good to see that, but now pitchers are going to force to work, right?
Yeah.
And so this is going to benefit those pitchers who are like very who are very skillful and this is going to hurt the young guys who are coming to the league and a little bit apprehensive about what their stuff is going to be like.
Yeah.
And so this is going to be either a confidence booster or a confidence killer. So we'll see. It's going to be good. It's going to be great. So
hey, I love it. I love it. And what was the name of that guy back when about the time I met you in 2002? You had a picture with the Mets. His last name was like Tabasco or something. And he took forever to throw the ball. I'm watching some of the highlights, and people are saying, throw the ball. He's playing with that little
the bag.
Yeah. The little dust bag. I don't know what they call those things.
Was it
Pickles?
Was it Wohlers? Mark Wohlers?
Early 2000s, right around the
necklace?
time Glavine was pitching with you, or 2002, we had Mo Vaughn. It was something like Tabasco or it had like an odd name. This guy would take 2 and 3 minutes.
Hey Robert, to be honest with you, a lot of these pitches take forever, man. You'll be at a game and you could go get a beer in the bathroom, come back, and they're still pitching, man. they still out there pitching to the same player, especially if you got a guy who's a contact hitter and just fouling away balls.
Now, let me ask you this. Now, I don't, if you don't know, I don't know. Is there a penalty for a guy pulling a Barry Bonds stepping out of the box every second?
I think they talked about making a rule like that where you're also on the clock.
He's trying to slow down the game,
Yeah, so that's not a rule yet, and I'm not sure that's happened yet, to be honest with you. But I know they've talked about that as well. Like you can't be in and out of the box and things like that. So
yeah.
Or once you're like in the box, you can't get out or something like that.
Well, my dad was saying that he used to hate watching Bonds do that. He was always doing this number. He's pulling from from. I just know Jack and Mac, they're not going to like this. I mean, it is really. Did you get a chance to see any of that today?
Any of the games?
I mean, it is really fast, man. That clock is like boom, 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 boom.
You know what it is, though? I think it could kind of distract the fans from what's going on too. If you're looking at the clock and looking back and forth.
I love the clock, man. Already, and you're right. There's some this writer for the Cincinnati Bengals. He's already saying you don't need to have the clock on the board. And then there's a college baseball. They have it in that you can hear in the ump's ear. A game was ended because a guy took too long to pitch the ball. I like having a huge shot. It's like a shot clock, man, like in the NBA, but it's faster. Yeah, and I hope that they don't slow it down.
Here was the thing, and this was the one of the biggest gripes for sports fanatics, not baseball fans, but sports fanatics, was like, we don't know the determination of baseball.
Yeah.
Like, and that was one of the things that MLB has always struggled with, right? And another, who else gripes about that?
Who?
TV.
Yeah.
Because they want to know, and they want to control commercials. They want to control breaks. They want to make sure that they're making money from all these ads. So, it's just been a combination of things. And now the younger people, such as yourself and myself and people younger than us, we come from a generation.
I know. I'm going to claim young, dude, until I'm like 60, brother.
Yeah. We come from a generation about instant gratification. We're not going to watch something if it's not interesting, man,
Right.
Which is why, again, this is another thing with sports, and a lot of people gripes, is why these Pro Bowls, All-Star games are getting so much, they're getting all mixed and blended up.
Did you see how low the ratings were to the All-Star game Sunday?
Yeah, so, I mean, and there might be a way to fix that, but it's not going to please everybody, right? So, things are going to change because people change, the times have changed, TV changes everything.
Yeah.
Online streamings change stuff. So, just if you're on the boat, stay on the boat. If you don't like it, jump off, bro. ain't no life preserver for you.
I told Jack and Jim, particularly Jack, I said, studies say you guys are purists. You'll come back. You'll gripe about it. You will come back to the game. I don't know if Pickles are like this. I don't even know if you'll like this. But what about this? No more intentional walks. And then if Pickles, like Pickles says, hit batters will go up. Now,
yeah, that's
do you
different.
Get warnings for hit batters if we know you're doing it intentionally to set up a double play per se?
But and look, to be honest with you, I've liked it. In the last few years, I don't know how much you watch your baseball. When there's guys that they're intentionally walking, they just go to the base. Just the pitcher be like, "Yo," the manager and the pitcher agree. Tell the catcher to tell the we're gonna walk this guy. They just should throw a pitch, at least one pitch, and then be like, "Yo, we're walking him, man. Let him go on base." And then they change the pitcher, or they get ready for the next batter, which kind of like helps the pitcher more than anybody else, right?
Yeah,
because it controls his level of thinking. It controls his level of getting exasperated.
I'm looking at on basis of competitive purposes where a pitcher has to pitch. You either get the guy out,
right,
or we either get the guy out, or you change pitchers. Now, I understand. I don't know about timeouts and all that stuff that managers have per se. If there's a number of timeouts, this could be explained later. Baseball moves at a snail's pace. I never thought they would have a DH in the National League. When we were growing up, we would have dreamed of having interleague play in the early 90s. Are you kidding me?
We were excited for that, right? We were like, oh my God,
I was hyped, dude, when it was being talked about.
Oh my God.
In 1993.
I mean, we almost had heart attacks because Miami was going to get a baseball team. You remember that?
I was hyped about Miami. I wanted Nashville to get one, and there's been talk. I talked about it the other day on my program that Nashville is expansion. Nashville will be one of the cities in expansion, and look how far American League teams are from Nashville.
Yeah,
we're talking 500 miles. Chicago, Baltimore's even farther than that. Kansas City's a long ways from here, man.
And people don't realize that Nashville is literally anywhere between a 3 to 4 hour average flight from anywhere in the United States. Average.
That's nice. That's nice.
So
I never thought about it that way.
And they got a decent airport. They got a lot of places to hang out and hotels. But I mean, baseball's gonna change. All these sports have changed. People come back. Money's being spent. There's new stadiums being built. People, the purist. You're not winning any arguments except for the fact that you're gonna be pissed off, right?
Right. That's true. That's true.
I mean, and if you anything, just get excited that times are changing and your surroundings are changing and your team's changing. And instead of being one of those teams that nobody likes to watch, you at least go to the stadium because the stadium's been rebuilt, right?
I would have a designated patron tossing cups to slow the game. LOL, Pickles. Okay, well, yeah, I mean,
and look, you go to the game now, and there's maybe 20-30% of people actually watching it. Everybody else on their phone taking pictures, looking up stats.
So how often do you go to games?
Me? Okay, so I got lucky because my wife gifted me season tickets. So a couple years ago, and then we had a great deal before the Mets got good, and she just kept it going as a gift. So right now I go at least an average of 20-25 games.
Man, that's huge.
Yeah, so
that is huge. Y'all go to night games and everything?
Well, so I'm not gonna lie, it's hard to go to all those games because of my schedule with the kids. So
yeah,
I go to at least 90% of them. So there's 10% of games that I sometimes will gift or somehow get rid of the tickets. So.
Yeah. When I lived there, man, in 2002, I did get a chance. I went to 2 Mets games and 1 Yankee game. Got a chance to see Mo Vaughn. Bonds hit one. I saw Greg Maddux pitch 3 innings, and it seemed like it was 5 minutes. It's like pitch clock. But he got hurt, pulled out, and they put somebody else in. Braves ended up winning. That was that year I was telling you earlier. A few weeks ago, we was talking about the Mets, that everybody up there thought the Mets were going to go to the World Series.
Oh my God.
Roberto Alomar and Tom Glavine, Mo Vaughn, and all those guys were past their prime.
No. They had Joe Olerud. They had John Olerud. They had the best infield in baseball. Remember, they had
we were hyped about the infield at the time.
Yeah, they had Mike Piazza and John Olerud and all those guys. Yeah, but listen, I mean, I live down the street from Citi Field. Like I walk through the park and the Citi Field is there, so it's like a 10-minute walk. And so it's not hard for me to get there. So I'm not, when it's something like that and it's local, it's easy for me. But man, my neighborhood is gentrifying, so it's been changing slowly. But there's less people from actual Flushing, Corona, Jackson Heights. There's less fans of baseball within the actual, I'll say about 20-mile radius, by the stadium. Then there's people coming from Long Island, the city, New Jersey, Connecticut. Families that have been raised on the Mets but moved away from the city.
Okay.
So that's maybe a problem for Citi Field and the fan base. But at the end of the day, I mean, people come in and they come and they see a good. It's not hard to get to. So for me, it's even easier because it's down the street, right? So,
did you go to any Yankee games?
Yeah, I go to Yankee games too. That's a trip for me, and it's kind of terrible because I don't want to drive up there because the parking's terrible in the Bronx.
Of course,
and you don't want to get ruin your car or anything bad happen to your car.
Yeah. Okay, is it still like it was back 20 years ago where parallel parking is? You bump the guy in front of you bump the guy behind you, and then you park.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's
my audience. A lot of my audience are people I grew up with here in Nashville. They don't believe me when I say that.
Listen.
That's hit and run in Nashville up there. That's called everyday life.
Yeah. I mean, it's gotten worse, Robert, because now there's. I mean, if you find parking, you just kind of want to stay there and not move for the rest of the year. It's really bad. But when you take a train,
take the train.
The trains. There's a lot of crazy people on the train after COVID, and it's been kind of wild. So if I go to a game, I'm less likely to take my son to a Yankees game, and it's not because I don't want him to not like the Yankees. It's just it's just an extra like having to be aware of what's going on and
crazy people,
yeah, and if you have a beverage or two, you don't want to be off kilter and something bad happen. You know what I'm saying? So,
brother, dang. Well, it's
the Bronx, bro. It's the Bronx. It's the boogie down.
Yeah, boogie. What is it? Wait, let me guess. 162nd East.
Yeah, it's on the 160. Yeah.
Okay. I still remember. We went $8 for bleacher seats. Everything cost a fortune in New York City. In 2002, I got to see Jeter and everybody. I thought that was the grandest thing. And I hated the Yankees. Toronto beats them 8-3. Are doing low key daps, my boy Kenny. We didn't want to celebrate. We get beat up, but it's great. It's a huge stadium. It was the old Yankee Stadium. It's awesome, man. They have a crowd that's a football-like crowd, man.
It's good. It's good. I mean, it's good times, good vibes, good baseball.
Yeah, it is.
Yankees have great baseball fans, actual baseball fans, not just people that like the hat, So, but Citi Field's similar. A lot of people like baseball. It's a different perspective. It's the way the stadium was built. Everybody has a pretty decent view, no matter what seat you get, which is a little bit different.
Yeah.
So at the end of the game, it's baseball, man. If you want to see baseball, you're gonna get to see it if you go there. If you don't, if you don't like
baseball, you're downplay. It's great, but in baseball, you have extra innings. In football, you have sudden death. Then enter George Carlin. George Carlin.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on I know you want to get in that Brandon Miller stuff, man.
No, I'm good. Look, to be honest,
wild down there, man.
We can talk about that last if you want. So
okay, the Titans have cut a lot of players now. I'm going to tell the audience it's just rumors. It's not rumors by Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport, but I did read that Derrick Henry, he's a $16 million cap hit. He's 29 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Derrick Henry could potentially be traded. I think it's a good idea. Colin Cowherd says fall in like with players, don't fall in love. Right. I think the guy is a Tennessee Hall of Famer. If Titans had a Titans Hall of Fame for Titan players, I think he's better than Eddie George. I would definitely want him to do that, but I'm okay with trading the guy. It's nothing personal. It's business.
Right.
What do you think about all the other cuts have been made? Taylor Lewan, Brandy Bullock, they're under the cap. I really like it. I'm okay if they get a second or early third, maybe a late first for Derrick Henry. What do you think about all this going on down here with the Titans and they're reshaping the roster?
If you're rebuilding Carthon, which is a former player's son from the New York Giants, I don't know if you knew that.
Okay. I didn't know he played for the Giants. Okay.
No. He's the son of a former Super Bowl winner.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, he never did play himself. Or no, he played for the Colts, right?
Yeah, he played, but he didn't play for the Giants. Yeah,
gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
So here's the thing. And Titan fans, hold on your bridges, man. Relax. Because they're in a better position to shift and move players around than other teams are. And because they're in the division that they're in helps them. They still have a great coach that helps. And they actually have ownership that's recognizing that they need to make the changes now than later.
Yeah.
Right. And if you make the changes now than later, you one up and already on the Jaguars and Colts because they're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
So just be patient and understand that this man's going to get more bang for his buck no matter what they decide to do.
So you really like Carthon so far.
They trained him in a way, and he's been in a situation as a player, right? He's been in those situations, and in San Francisco, he's been trained in a way where they get max out for their players for the amount of money they're spending, right?
Yeah.
So this is a good situation for the Titans. If they have to deal Henry away, understand this, Titan fans, you will be gifted more than you deserve because Henry ain't gonna come on the cheap.
Right.
If you're a team like the Raiders, who want to like move away from Jacobs, right? Because he's a little bit smaller, right?
Yeah.
If you have a running back like Henry, you don't need that. O-line just has to be fast because Henry will do the rest, right?
Right.
So you can kind of play and shift and move if your O-line is like lacking one or two players, Henry helps that. So if they're going to trade him, they trade him. If they don't, they're not. It won't go against the Titans.
At minimum, I think they'll adjust his salary. He's second only to Zeke Elliott, and quite frankly, hold on, I got some screenshots here. What it would save them, not to bore the audience too much here with this.
No, but and what I like that the Titans did though is they let go of Lewan because he's been an injury case, and
he's missed half his games in the last 3 years, by the way.
Yeah, and it's not that he's not a good player when he's on the field. That has nothing to do with it. It's the fact that the best ability is availability, and he hasn't been available a lot. So
it's like he knew it was coming. By the way, did you hear what he said?
Yeah, and
thank you for the opportunity. Blah blah blah.
And I don't think, and the way I'm reading the situations, I don't think that he doesn't want to play football anymore. I just think that he doesn't want to be in a situation where he's forced to be a full-time player all the time. You know what I'm saying? I think for him, he's probably looking for a backup role, and a lot of teams are looking for a full-time role to put him in because he's still kind of young. But I think
he's only 31. I mean, there's linemen that can play up to their 40. I mean, if you take care of yourself.
Yeah, but he's
banged up for 31. Very banged up.
And even in college, he took a few bangers, bro. So
Pickles says Zach Cunningham failed the fit. Zach Cunningham, he played at Vanderbilt. He's got a nose for the football. Very good linebacker. But he was $13 million cap put. Like Pickles says, he failed his physical. I think that was an easy move, man.
And injury because of injuries or because he was out of shape or both?
I think it was injuries. Yeah. Now, he was cut from Houston, so there may be something there, but the time when I watch him play, he kills it.
Yeah, I mean,
but maybe it's just coincidence. I don't know.
No, Robert.
I don't watch every game.
I think the reality is, and this is what is football, right? In today's, and what we see, and why I say there's mediocrity is because these players, they do well, they do great when they're on the field, but the problem is they're not on the field as much as we are used to seeing players in position wise be on the field, right? You remember Zach Thomas used to play on the Dolphins. He used to play hurt, and you could see play hurt, but he will still try to be on the field and not try to get off the field. You're not going to see that stuff anymore. Brian Urlacher. Remember he used to play.
Yeah. Hey, didn't
Sometimes he had
Zach
a shorter
Thomas
one
just
time.
get into the Hall of Fame?
I hope so. I don't know.
Okay,
He should.
I thought I read that he did. Maybe he was a finalist. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
one time he played with his arm hanging because it was out of place for like
Yeah.
half the quarter. Like, and this wasn't that long ago. But again, look at how these guys ended their careers. Right? They didn't end on on a high end and didn't go. They're suffering now. So players have to take care of themselves. Fans have to just kind of eat it because we, as much as we want to see these guys all play, this is a tough sport and it's hard for the guys to stay on the field. I think the biggest thing is trying to negotiate if dollar for dollar.
Yeah.
And that's I think the biggest problem right now that the NFL has. Look at the whole Daniel Jones situation. We're sitting here saying we're not going to pay. If I was a general manager, I wouldn't pay him more than $20 million. But
yeah,
I've been hearing that there was a $45 million asking price. His camp saying that was something falsified in the news. They didn't ask for that. Whatever the case might be, that's a big price tag to give someone like Daniel Jones. And
did you hear that $50 million number be thrown out for Jalen Hurts?
Not yet.
I mean, that's just, and then Jalen Hurts, Daniel Jones. I mean, no offense to Daniel Jones, but Jalen Hurts has shown more over the past year and a half.
No.
Jones has got one coach,
Yeah, so here we go. Daniel Jones has been in the league longer.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, once he found out that they were thinking about getting rid of him, he stepped up his game. He stepped up his
or Jones.
Hurts.
Oh, okay.
So what you saw last year, it wasn't what you saw this year when he played, right?
Yeah. Well, I did. I've had to talk with Jamie, that super fan for the Eagles for the audience, and he says I'll give this guy until about Thanksgiving, and then I'll make a decision as a fan whether I want to keep him or not. And of course, he was like 7-1 or something like that, and plus they did make the play. I was totally out on Hurts, but man, it's like the bell went off. He got the right offense, he got the right receiver, and it may have been Jason McIntyre with Fox. It may have been Colin Cowherd, but if you look at players who's retired in the NFC, he's like one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the NFC. If you look at players that are moved out, you got to be honest about it. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, we don't know if he's going to come back. Brady just retired. Breeze is gone. He's probably better than.
Is he better than Dak Prescott?
That's the question. And right now, he does look to be better.
I think right now
he's been to the Super Bowl.
He's Dak Prescott, and
he's a better athlete than Prescott. That goes without saying.
Yeah, he right now. If you're comparing their the second year, he's going to have more. I think he has more potential than Prescott because he has better coaching and better team around him.
Yeah. Prescott, his rookie year, remember he had a very good team, 13-3.
Yeah.
Zeke Elliott. So I would have to say Hurts. Man, Hurts really he made me do a 180 on him, man. I mean, that dude is good. And you start looking at the NFC East, the NFC West, the NFC North, Jared Goff. I mean, we don't know what the Bears got. Who's the other guy? Kirk Cousins? Are you kidding me?
I mean, Kirk Cousins.
He's all right, but I mean,
you know what? Man. Kirk Cousins is like. I'm not, man. Kirk Cousins. Who would you compare him to? Like one of those football players back in our day. Maybe Chandler. Maybe Chandler. You remember Chandler from the Falcons?
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe.
Well, I think Chandler got to the Super Bowl in '98, though.
Yeah, but
Cousins was a big choke artist back in the day.
He didn't win.
Well, no, I mean they got beat by they got beat by Denver.
Yeah. So,
but I don't know if I'd put him as Kirk Cousins. Who was the guy that won? He actually did go to the Super Bowl with your Giants early in the day.
Terry Collins?
No, the one that actually won.
You're talking about Phil Simms?
No, Simms is back up.
Hostetler, Jeff Hostetler.
There you go. There you go. I mean, it's a better offense, but Hostetler, I mean, he's closer to that. Yeah. Pickle says Jeff Hostetler.
Yeah.
Rister right, and he got a big. I think he ended up getting a big contract by the Raiders.
The Raiders, yeah.
And didn't do nothing.
Yeah, man. He cashed out. I mean, good for him.
Yeah. So I mean, if you look at the NFC, but not to get too far off, we're getting a little bit off filter here. But yeah. By the way, for the record, yeah, Zach Thomas did make the Hall of Fame finally. Yeah. They made that announcement on February 10th. I was looking that up earlier, but. Yeah, I think a team like the Titans, I think they're doing good things. Cardon, remember, he was involved in drafting guys like George Kittle in the 5th round.
Yep.
Fred Warner. I never even heard of Fred Warner when he was coming out of college, man. Fred Warner's like an all-pro. Pro Football Focus has him as the best linebacker in the game right now.
No, so, I mean, he's okay. He's gonna find a diamond in the rough, which is gonna help Tennessee, right? Maybe find a Devon Curse again,
God.
Wouldn't that be nice?
People will hope so. Yeah, that would be nice right there.
Tennessee's okay. Tennessee will be okay, and I'm going to end the conversation with this: if they don't trade Derrick Henry, they'll be okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I just had to bring that up. But by the way, Spot Track says, the guy tweeted out that runs that site there, they would save about $6 million if they traded him. If they cut, I don't think they'll cut him. But that's fool's talk right there if you cut him. And by the way, got people like Tannehill asked me, you can cut guys and bring them back. Now, Fletcher Cox, who's sick of the Eagles cut him last year. They brought him back. He played all the way in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the problem is when you cut them, you're sending them to the free market. Nashville's a nice place, man.
I mean,
except for maybe Robert Woods, he tweets out free after Tennessee released him the other day.
What?
He goes to go back to the Rams.
I don't. He wasn't that bad for Tennessee.
Nah, he wouldn't.
It was the fact that they couldn't get a quarterback that can get him the ball, man. Like,
yeah, I was reading the other day that the Titans essentially need 4 offensive linemen. That's how bad they were on the offensive line. I mean, Lewan was hurt early. They traded away Saffold.
Right.
Ben Jones, the center, had a concussion problem at the end. Maybe he comes back, but he's long in the tooth too. Mm-hmm. And maybe he may be forced to retire. So it's all about that offensive line. I mean, right. that's what they're going to have to focus in on. And
which is a good thing that they have Derrick Henry. They don't have to have the huge O line if they would have a smaller back.
Yep.
So
yeah, and the team was rumored. Buffalo was the team that was rumored to maybe be interested in Henry, maybe because of Saffold. He'd run off Saffold. I don't know. But then again, Saffold, I read he didn't do that good up there.
They want to run the ball. Still, they got like 5 running backs and can't run the ball, man.
And the truth of the matter is they made no adjustments.
They made no adjustments.
I don't know what I wouldn't be too excited. I was talking about that with what's that guy's name? John the other day. That lives up there. And he said he went to some Bills games, but I'm like, well, I mean, you guys haven't done anything. Oh, Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is going, his brother Trayvon's putting him in a Dallas uniform. He blows up on Josh Allen. Now that's quarterback receiver stuff that happens during the game.
Right.
But Diggs has a legit beef that they haven't done anything. And their offense looks like crap at times. They don't know, they can't run the ball consistently. And I'm not too mad at him for that. At least he gives a crap, He's not like Matt Ryan. He's okay with losing.
And here's the thing, Robert. And if you're comparing the Bills to the Titans, the Bills have had more of an opportunity because of the division that they were in, because of the fact they had they have a quarterback,
a super talent there,
franchise quarterback there, and they still didn't make any adjustments from 2019. They've been playing the same kind of football since 2019. Like, I mean, if you're gonna do that, then it's what you get what you get, man.
You have the only defensive, was it the whole playoff? The only defensive minded head coach, and you look bad in that last game, and they look really bad in that last game at
And
home.
yeah, they didn't look like they know how to play in snow, and that's all that happens up there is snow.
Yeah, that's what John was saying. You know, his theory behind that was the team with the stuff with the Damar Hamlin stuff, all the stress, being snowed out early in November. He says it all just came tumbling down, and the team was totally. How do you be flat in the divisional round game? But he's saying that he kind of sensed that they were flat that game.
I mean, I told people from the get when they were calling Buffalo Super Bowl winners, I was like, nah, man, it's not.
Say they were my preseason. I was trying to run with them, man.
Yeah, you got ran over. You got stampeded.
Man, I got stampeded, man. And them and the 49ers. But, 49ers just got unfortunate with that injury. So, all right. So, what's your thoughts, man? Brandon Miller, with the whole Alabama situation?
I say this. There is a problem with the university and their athletic department and the players that are running amok on in all levels.
Yeah.
But that is a problem that the big major schools have anyway with the players that run amok, and having campus police and investigations affect the police investigations of the counties that these municipals that these universities are located in. So it's not just an Alabama thing. It's a thing that universities and the municipalities that they're in need to kind of get together with the NCAA and make some kind of rule, right?
Yeah.
Some where they're not working against each other. Because it seems like they're working against each other because athletes need to be on the field, not in jail. And the police departments and the municipalities are like, criminals need to be in jail, not out in public after they commit a crime. So, so that's something that the NCAA needs to fix on all universities, even the small universities like Austin Peay. You were involved. Yeah. You wrote some reports about a couple players back in the day.
Oh yeah. Oh, do you recall that? Now I think you were going to school with me then when I wrote that story about the basketball player who they had found weed in his room and he got arrested.
Yeah.
And he tried to throw all the newspapers away.
So
that story blossomed more, bigger, Yeah.
So yeah,
we talked about that, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So even that small university that people say, oh, like it's a small university, nothing happens there. Stuff happens in all the universities and all the colleges, and not just Division I. You're talking about.
Pickles used the term "the program." Do you remember that movie, The Program?
Oh, yeah,
it was. I was reading. It's pretty close to home. That's why a lot of the pros don't like that movie, but others say that was pretty close to reality, and it was not exaggerated. The Program.
Yeah, they had banned that in some places because high school kids were trying to get in to watch that, and it was like rated R.
I loved it. I've watched it like 10 times.
But so like even with that issue, just stemming off of that issue with the campus police and the municipality polices.
Yeah, and I think this was Tuscaloosa, but yeah.
I think we need to just pump the brakes. If we hear news, we got to find out more about the news. We're sometimes step in poo-poo and don't like to smell it. Sometimes the poo-poo smelling so much that we called it, but at the end of the day, poo-poo happens. We just got to make sure where it's coming from and who stepped on it.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so go back to January 15th. That's when this incident happens. Mm-hmm. Supposedly, in air quotes, this guy we know that Miles or whatever gets kicked off the team. He's charged with murder. Do you buy that Oates did not know that Brandon Miller was involved then? Or do you think that he thought that we would just kind of not notice that?
I feel like I don't want to talk about the situation until after the situation gets put to bed. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of stuff in play that we don't know about yet.
Yeah.
A family is ruined.
Yeah.
Because of the situation, and I don't want to say something just to say something.
No, I hear you.
I'm following the story. A lot of stuff just keeps coming out, and not everything's out yet, people. So
Yeah.
relax and pump the brakes, and and maybe just wait till this stuff goes to court so we can see exactly what's being said.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. And like I said, I was reluctant to talk about it on Wednesday, but I started finding out more information on Thursday about it. And my thing is, it's just kind of hard to believe that the coaching staff or even somebody within the university did not have an idea that he drove that gun over there. The guy's a lottery pick. They're the number one team, number two team in the country, and that stuff should be irrelevant, man. I mean, players come and go, but the program's always going to be here,
right?
And you look at the coach. I don't know if you remember this, Mike Price. They hired this guy for 20 minutes, man. He gets like his first check. He goes down in a strip club and he's using the company card. He spends like $1,000 on escorts and strippers and stuff. This guy's like my older guy. He goes crazy like his young kid in a candy store. Long story short, they fired him. He didn't have any.
And he went through a midlife crisis, man. What do you expect? You give a guy a check.
I get maybe that's what it was.
You give a guy a check, man, and that check don't bounce. Go cash it, son.
You remember they hired Mike Shula, the son of Don Shula.
I remember that.
D'Amico Ryans, the coach of the Houston Texans, he played for Shula. He lasted a few years, and then you got Nick Saban. You have a legend. 2006, right? You got Nick Saban. So the same thing with Oaks. It just seems like from the information that we know right now, it doesn't look good for Oaks, man. It's just
look. And this ain't the only school, man. Like Georgia had that guy. Yesterday I sent the link about the kid racing.
Wow.
He's racing that his car down the interstate, and then the incident that happened in Michigan. That wasn't.
What happened in Michigan?
The shooting.
Oh, Michigan State. Yeah. I thought you was talking about Jim Harbaugh helping those police out
in Michigan State, and there's a lot of stuff happening with some of these universities, and this one just kind of started blowing up, right? And now
it's really unfortunate. It's the dad of the girl, the stepdad of this woman, he says her blood stains are on this season for this team, and it's really unfortunate. I mean, the sporting side of it, they're having a great season. I have to give it to them. I mean, they're having a great season. This guy's looking like coach of the year out there. But, man, you just can't ignore something this big, and just kind of
if they make the dance, well, they'll make the dance, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they'll probably be a one. They could potentially be a 1 seed.
Yeah.
Number one overall seed. And
unfortunately, it's such a TV thing, right? So
yeah.
March Madness for CBS is huge. So are they going to talk about Alabama?
They're going to be walking on eggshells about this thing, man.
Or what are they going to say? Like
the tragedy that happened in January with so-and-so. And by the way, we got the starting guard here. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I think? I think they'll make a 30 for 30 about this.
There'll definitely be something out about this.
Yeah.
There might be a 30 for 30 about
maybe 10 years from now, but I'm just saying,
Look, I haven't been able to turn the TV off because so much stuff has been going on in the last few weeks. Man, this has been a very, very heavy news like type of year so far.
Environment.
So, and social media don't help either. So but I don't know, man. This March Madness it's gonna be crazy with the mid majors already. That are the some mid majors
right,
are more
right. Basketball wise, there's no clear cut favorite, man. I don't think it's Alabama. No. I don't think it's Houston.
No, don't guys. If you gamble, guys, gamble like dollar and dollars, and don't gamble hundreds and hundreds. you gonna lose. Somebody gonna lose their house.
What was that year? We was in college one year. George Mason got to the Final Four. Is that the school?
Wasn't it? Was that Shaka Smart the first time he went?
No, that's Virginia Commonwealth. You're a few years off. It was George Mason.
George Mason. Yeah. Yeah, I remember now.
That's outside of DC area.
Right. Yeah, I remember.
Oh, okay. And that guy ended up going down to Miami or something. The head coach there, but George Mason, I think they beat like Connecticut that year. I think something like that can happen this year.
Were you in school with me when we went to
the tournament? Yeah.
We
got blown out by Louisville.
Yeah. Did you go to the tournament?
Yeah. Austin Peay went to the tournament twice that I know of.
But did you get on that bus?
No, I didn't go. I didn't physically. No. Austin Peay was like a 14 seed. They wasn't a 16 like everybody would think. Yeah. We got beat both times, blown out, of course.
Yeah, no. It was an experience. I went with the bus. They chartered.
Oh, you actually went? Okay. I was working on the weekends. Got it.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I had to work every weekend, man. I was working security downtown, but I was watching the game thinking that we was going to be Cinderella.
It was a great deal that the university, they chartered that bus and,
Yeah.
It was cool. It was cool.
Well, I mean, it was Murray State and Austin Peay. And, hey, man, Austin Peay had a guy that made the pros just before we got there. And Murray State, we saw what Murray State's turned into.
Right.
I think didn't John Morant go to Murray State?
John Morant went to Murray State, yeah.
Oh, it's this guy's off the hook, man. I mean, when Murray State played, I don't know if you went to those games at night, but maybe we went to games together. I can't remember. Yeah, when they played Austin Peay, it was packed house.
Yeah, man, that was nice.
Our gyms were, I mean, those were packed, and it's a smaller mid-major school, but it was standing room only in some of those Murray State games.
Yeah,
TSU. But Murray State was better. I mean, Murray State was really good then.
That was the rival, right?
Yeah, it was a pretty strong rival. So, but yeah, as far and in basketball wise, I mean, I hope Alabama works everything out. But it just, I think it's going to put a damper on them no matter how they want to.
To be honest with you, I think it puts a damper on the media,
the whole sport,
on everything else but them. Like they're focused on basketball, which is crazy. That this stuff has happened and they're still able to move past it. And so their focus and their coaches got them doing something positive out of what's a terrible situation. And I just feel bad for those kids because this is the year that they could have done something, and now they got something else in the back burner, that's trying to push away from what their accomplishment.
Yeah. And Brandon Miller, he's from here in Nashville. He's from Antioch, which is it's a suburb of here in Nashville. If people's not from this area.
Is he from LA?
Huh?
Is he from LA? Lower
Antioch?
Is he from there?
No, it's Antioch, Tennessee. Yeah.
No, is he from Lower Antioch though?
Oh, no, South Central.
Okay. You know what I'm talking
about. No, I was listening to Jason Whitlock. He said something interesting. For one thing, people ask me here in Nashville, why does he not go to Tennessee? His dad played 1 year football for Alabama, and he's got the mom pregnant with him, so he walked away from football and helped raise his son. Apparently, he's a good guy, and like I said yesterday, he probably is a good guy from everything I've seen. He probably sometimes you have to be confrontational. He did not get confrontational. I think they should have kicked him off the team. I don't think he should get in trouble, but I do think he'll probably face a civil suit and he'll be off to the NBA. And I'll say this, there's a silver lining in all this, Carlos. The guy scored 40 points the other day. I think, remember how good Kobe played during the Eagle Colorado? It's like he's focused like a laser beam. Everybody's against us. This may rally Alabama as a team together, and they may go on to win a national championship. Even if they make the Final Four, like you said, that will be a story that'll be talked about nationally.
Do you think this is like an Allen Iverson thing where, is questioning
he got in trouble at a bowling alley, something to do with shooting or something, right?
With the fight, yeah. A fight broke out on him.
Yeah. Where he plays better because of it?
Well, he still got into the league. He had to go to
Well, no, Miller hasn't been charged, and it looks like he might not get charged. And if he does, civilly, he may get sued by that girl's family, by this woman's family, excuse me. And he'll probably settle. He'll be fine. But I'm telling you, it may help his stock because he's playing. It's just one game, but I feel like he's probably in tune right now because he knows a lot of people are watching him, and he knows that he's let this team down, and he's focused in like a laser beam. And everything I read, he's still a top 5 prospect. I'm just talking the basketball side too.
All eyes on Alabama, right?
I mean, they already win a lot in football. Now all eyes is on the basketball program.
I don't know, man. It's just so much.
Pickles says corporate America will dictate who sees what. They'll touch on it, Pickles. They'll touch on it, and then they'll just move back on. And we want to take a moment of silence for Billy Packard, who passed away.
You know what's going to happen is those Alabama games are going to be on True TV, and you can't find them. They'll be like at 3:00, 4:00, and you'll be like, I can't get to that game.
Jim Nantz and his voice, the Alabama, they'd be playing somebody big time too. The Alabama number 2 Houston, they'll be on the True TV here. And meanwhile, we have the 15, the 3 and the 14 seed, Iowa State and Michigan State.
Yeah. What are the channels again? It's usually CBS Sports.
Yeah.
True TV, USA, and one more, right?
TBS, True TV.
Oh, TNT.
And TNT. Yeah. I knew he was running out of T somewhere. I'm looking forward to the tournament. I know it's going to be a George Mason-like tournament. I'm going to make that prediction. Somebody is going to get in the Final Four that you didn't think will get in the Final Four.
Vermont.
I'm
just kidding, man.
There's a 16 seed. Was it it wasn't Loyola?
No,
that was the one with the older lady.
Loyola. Yeah.
Loyola. Who was the 16 seed that won a few years ago? Like 2 or 3 years ago.
No, last year, the St. Peter's.
Oh, really?
You don't remember that?
I mean,
that's
never happened before. A 16's never beat a 1 until a few years ago. I don't think it was last. No, it was a few years ago.
No, but last year there was the team that was coming out. So
now St. Peter's was a very high. Yeah, you're right. I mean, St. Peter's. So I mean, the tournament's going to be good. The NBA playoffs are going to be really good. I think people say what they won't. I've been some of those people. I've been one of those people. Have criticized the NBA. The Western Conference. The Lakers won again the other night. The Western Conference is going to be very competitive, especially in the playoffs, man. And then you got baseball with this. The sports world's about to really hit overdrive here in the next 6 weeks, man.
No, I mean this afternoon I'm looking at the phone. I got an alert says that Jalen Rose might head out to the West Coast.
Derrick Rose.
I'm sorry, Derrick Rose. Right, Derrick Rose to Phoenix. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, Jalen Rose came out of retirement. That'll really be news.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to go to Phoenix. No, I'm kidding. No. So Rose is going to Phoenix, and I'm like, what? And then they say another paragraph underneath, maybe for nothing. I'm like, what? That's even worse.
That is true.
It's a terrible time to be a Knicks fan, man.
Phoenix. I mean, they got Terrence Ross now. I mean, it just. They might slip around and do something, but Durant's not even going to be back till next week. He's already going to be back a week later than he's supposed to be back.
But can you imagine? Now, here's the thing: and not that I like Derrick Rose, and I'm a big fan of Derrick Rose, but if Phoenix picks him up, then that helps their case a little bit more. That gives them a little bit more depth.
And they got a bunch of old guys. They're starting to look like the Lakers in 2005 when they had Gary Payton and Karl Malone on there.
Yeah, that whole super team of used to be's.
And Detroit ended up beating them that year. Remember that?
Because they were young.
Wage in the NBA, good money. Yeah, minimum wage in the NBA.
Yeah, so I mean, so if Derrick Rose goes to Phoenix, man, I might push that Phoenix is closer to to the to winning the championship than they are to the ER. So
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and things keep developing. You know how teams, they start to get momentum. You start to get one star, and then you start to get guys that really want to ring. They start to take pay cuts. I would love to see. It seemed like Chris Paul is always a day late and a dollar short. They're humiliated last year. If they don't show up this year, that Game 7 was the worst Game 7 I've ever seen a team play that had that much talent on there. What they scored, like 30 points at halftime or something?
I know.
Remember against Dallas.
You remember when Orlando went and stunk it up against the Lakers? That was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was bad. You talking about with Dwight Howard that
year?
Yeah,
you know. You already know. You don't got to ask.
Man.
And everybody was
I hated. I mean, God rest his soul, but as a player, I like to be honest with you. I was never a Kobe guy.
I wasn't either.
You didn't like Kobe? I know Kevin loved Kobe.
Yeah, I didn't like Kobe.
Went to school with him.
I hated Kobe because he wouldn't come to New York. Not because he was a good player.
Because he was really mouthy and he didn't want to give Shaq a lot of credit. Later he did, but
that was a terrible game. That Orlando Lakers game. What was it? Game 4? Game 5?
Yeah. Well, that it was one series. Of them, and Orlando was playing so well coming into that series. I thought they had a shot. And, of course, Kobe got a ring, and then I just didn't. And then the next year, I ended up beating the freaking Celtics in Game 7. I lost $50 in that series. And remember the Celtics that next year, they won Game 5. Usually the winner of Game 5 wins 85% of the time, man. And I was telling the guys at work, I got this one, brother. I got this one. They're like, well,
Nah, man.
Don't count your chickens before they hatch.
You got pump them brakes. That's why I don't bet, man. That's why I don't gamble.
Best bet's no bet, man. I'm telling you.
Bro.
Pickle says Duke is good for enough. I don't even know if Duke's even that good this year, are they?
They might sneak in, but I tell you what, they're guaranteed to make the other tournament, the Invitational.
The not in tournament.
The not in tournament.
Yeah. But I mean, you really got to give a team like Austin Peay back in the day. They won they did it the old-fashioned way, man. Yeah, Houston's number 1, Alabama's 2, Kansas is defending champions at 3, UCLA. I don't know what UCLA. I haven't seen any UCLA games this year. Purdue, Virginia, Arizona. Texas is good. Their coach got fired for some kind of assault charge or something, but then he got Marquette and Baylor. Baylor won the national championship a few years ago.
Yeah,
I have no idea what these guys are going to do.
It's going to be good times, man.
Yeah, and Tennessee's 11, in case you're wondering, and they're going the other direction.
Come on, Robert, have some faith, man.
They've blown too many games. That's the reason why that Texas got. I mean, the guy's a good guy. They're better than he's better coached than the other coach. He's not Pearl. But, Pickle says, Steph Curry took Davidson to the Sweet. Said that is true. Yeah. Little skinny kids shooting a rock out, man. That was when we were there at Austin Peay. I remember that. I was paying attention to the tournament then because Austin Peay was in it, even though they get put out in the first round.
I was already in Knoxville by then.
Oh, okay. Oh, was you at Knoxville when Pearl first got there?
At Tennessee?
Yeah. No, you was there during the glory days then, when they beat Florida finally.
Yeah.
In basketball, remember Florida had that national championship contender team, and Tennessee beat them in the regular season. So we'll see what happens. I ain't crazy about college basketball, but it's a nice little 2.5 weeks there. It's
a good break.
Yeah,
NFL.
It's a good break, But anyways, man, appreciate you coming on. I didn't even get a chance to ask you about the XFL because it's still going as of today. They ain't went broke yet.
How about we'll smell what the Rockets cooking this weekend to see if the numbers go up.
Yeah, he's out pumping it out on. So I hope it goes well, man. Like I mentioned yesterday, you got big names. You got Bob Stoops, AJ McCarron, former pro. Former Alabama player. He's a professional backup.
Yeah, Lynch, man.
And he actually won that game last night. McCarron played last night. That's what I don't like about it. And I said this yesterday. You want it to be appointment TV. You don't want to start moving this around too much.
Yeah.
They're already moving around. I didn't know they're playing a Thursday night game. You know, geez, man, just put it all on Saturday or Sunday, and let's wait till you got us hooked. Then you start the NFL stuff where you're moving it around all during the week. That's just my point.
People are looking for it.
Yeah, that's it's got to be appointment TV, man. And like I said, you got Hans Ward's one of the coach, former Pittsburgh. I mean, it's a lot of familiar names, and the product isn't that bad. These guys they got to get some time to play together. So
that's all it's going to take is time and money. And if you got money, you'll be okay. And because the time will always be there.
Yeah. Like you said, that guy that was Ebersol's son, he was way over his head, dude. He was our age.
Yeah. I think his issue,
Andrew Ebersol, whatever.
Yeah, I think his issue is he was dependent too much on people's words and didn't get them checks. You got to get them checks to make sure that you pay the bills, man.
Yeah.
You can't go on people's word.
And I think he was over banking on some type of ratings for advertising. He just seemed like he was just way over his head. You never heard from that guy again afterwards. The AAF is what he was over.
Yeah.
Back in 2019. All right, man. I'll see you next week. Same place, same time.
Happy Friday,
thank you, everybody. Folks. Pickles, Steven. Nice. A lot of viewers tonight. I could see it pop up there, See you, man.
Have a good one.